Chainmail is defined as a type of armor or jewelry made from small metal rings linked together in a pattern. While chainmail dates to at least the 4th century BC, when people hear the word chainmail, they instantly imagine a world of knights in shining armor and damsels in distress. One man in Spokane is working to keep the ancient art of chainmail alive.
My name is Robert Smith. I'm a chainmail artisan and co-owner of Newlun Sledge.
As a child, Robert was fascinated with all things medieval and would often let his imagination run wild.
I used to sit in front of a bucket of building blocks and I would build something enormous and gigantic, usually castles. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that I was able to actually go to my first Renaissance fair.
From that moment, Robert found his passion for historical reenactment.
One of the things I loved most about participating in the Ren Fair was the sword fighting and actually learning how combat was done back in the Middle Ages. In learning how to sword fight, I was able to relive my childhood and actually play out all the fantasies I used to have as a child of being a knight in shining armor and rescuing the damsel in distress.
Having a love of working with his hands, Robert decided making chainmail would be the best way to incorporate his newfound passion into his everyday life.
I picked up chainmail primarily because of the challenge that it proposed. It was something that I just kind of had to have an interest in and learn.
With an innate desire to learn and lack of a mentor, Robert turned to the internet and taught himself to make chainmail, writing down patterns based on the pictures he found.
A whole painstaking process of this ring goes here, not over here, oops, I did this wrong, and now I've got to take it all apart and start over.
While Robert loves working on his chainmail projects, as a busy father of 3 young children, finding the time to work on a large piece is sometimes more of a challenge than actually making the piece itself.
It can take anywhere from 5-10 minutes to do a pair of earrings. Making a full-size shirt, it can take several months to a year, but I usually don't have time for it since they are quite time-consuming.
In the summer of 2014, Robert partnered with a local seamstress to create a craft vending business called Newlun Sledge as a way to make a little extra income from his chainmail, as well as traveling the region going to Renaissance festivals.
I love when new people come out to the booth. They're always fascinated by how intricate it is, and I love teaching them exactly what all goes into making each individual piece. It really means a lot to me because I know that my art and my labor is appreciated.
In the end, Robert sums up his love of chainmail better than anyone else could.
One of the things that I loved about when I used to build the castles when I was a child was taking the individual little blocks, 50 of them, 100 of them by themselves, they're nothing. It's when you finally take all those little pieces and put them together, they become something grand. It's really the same way with the chainmail. Each individual link by itself represents nothing. Once you start the painstaking process of putting them all together, they start to take shape and you can start to see your dream visualized. By the time you're done, you've taken something that by itself has no meaning and turned it into something grand.
The ship is sinking fast.